Hello everyone, welcome to aBlogtoWatch. My name is Shapiro. Please like and subscribe this video if you find this information helpful. And today we are going to be talking about the Tissot V8 Swissmatic. This is one of Tissot's brand new Baselworld releases. It came out in 2018. I think it's really interesting. I wasn't super plugged into what Tissot was announcing or releasing this year, and it wasn't really until this was sent to me that I became kind of aware of some of their new watch offerings. But this is an interesting one to look at, so let's just kind of dive right into it. The V8 Swissmatic is a kind of vaguely automotive-inspired watch by Tissot. They are offering it in a variety of different dial and bezel configurations here. There's black and white dial. There's the silver bezel. I think they have a blue bezel, maybe a black bezel as well. It's kind of interesting. The case is 42 millimeters, but it wears pretty large at a 50 millimeter lug to lug. The case finishing is fairly interesting as well because it's got this vertical brushing along the sides, but it does, let me see if I can get this in the video a little bit better for you. It does transition to these polished bevels here. The bracelet kind of mirrors that brushing there. You can see it on this side as well. And then you have this circular brushing along the bezel with polished edges. All in all, the finishing on it makes it look like a very well done, very nicely finished watch. So moving on, I do think that there are a couple of problems with the case. When I was wearing it, one of the things that I noticed is this edge here, let me get in focus, this edge here is left completely unchamfered, and that can be a little sharp. So depending on how that watch kind of sits against your skin and how you flex your wrist, that could cause some discomfort. Additionally, the bracelet kind of suffers from that issue as well along here, although it is a very nice bracelet with a double deployant butterfly clasp. The watch itself, let me see if I can get a better shot of the dial texture. You can see here that it has this kind of textured black dial that's vaguely reminiscent of, I think, pavement, but what I've seen some other people talking about and what Tissot sort of talks about is reminiscent of kind of the texture of automotive upholstery. I get that as well. But you've got these sort of sword-like, dagger-like hands with little stripes of lume in them. The dial itself, apart from that, is completely non-luminous. You have these applied markers at all the hours here, and then a date at 3. And then you have this ticking seconds hand that has the T for Tissot outlined there. Pretty cool overall. The bracelet is a solid link construction. It is split pin, as you can see right there. And then, like I said before, it is a double butterfly deployant clasp. The back of the watch here is where things start to get a little bit more interesting. I think you're looking at the, let me get the actual reference of the movement here. This is the ETA C15.111 movement. That may sound familiar to some of you folks because it is the same movement, or roughly the same movement, that's used in the Swatch System 51. I think this is one of the more interesting things about this watch, as it is using that same Swatch movement. Although, based on what I can find, it's not, ETA or Swatch has put together a special configuration for Tissot of that movement. But it's not hacking. You can pull the crown all the way out, and you can see the seconds do not stop. And then you do have a quick set date here as well, which is kind of nice. Non-screw down crown. I believe it is, what does it say? Yeah, 10 bar, 100 meters of water resistance. I was unaware of that before. I think overall the watch looks really nice. There are some minor things that I have some issues with. Just fit and finish wise, the bezel markers do not line up. You can see it really well here. The bezel markers do not line up with the minute markers on the dial, and in my opinion that seems like a fairly considerable oversight. And then the lack of chamfers on the bottom of the case. This watch would just benefit so much from just having a small bevel along the edge of both the case and the bracelet to aid in the comfort overall. But let me just put it on the wrist here. I'll give you guys a wrist shot. So there you go. This is the 42 millimeter Tissot V8 Swissmatic. Like I said, it does wear kind of large for 42 millimeters. It is a heavy watch as well. There's a lot of steel on this watch between the case and the bracelet, but overall I think it's nice. One of the questions that we try and answer at aBlogtoWatch is, who would you suggest this watch for? And based in my experience with it and kind of how I see this watch fitting in is the MSRP on this comes in around $450. So likely at an AD, the street price will be slightly lower than that. So I'm thinking that if somebody was interested in a kind of dressy watch that they could take off Friday night and have it still be ticking when they put it on Monday morning, this would be a good solution for you. Oh, I forgot to mention, if I didn't mention it, this particular swatch movement has a 72-hour power reserve. So while you are lacking that hacking seconds, you are gaining a very long power reserve in a relatively affordable timepiece. So, you know, you'll have to decide whether or not that's worth it and whether or not that's something for you. But I do think that it's an interesting piece. I think that Tissot made some interesting design choices. I do really like the dial texture. That's what drew me to this watch first. So all in all, I do think it's an interesting piece. And if you're looking for something that's maybe vaguely automotive, but has a little bit of a dressier lean, that comes on a decent bracelet, sign clasp and all that good stuff. And it does have a display back if you want to see your movement taken away. This could be a good choice for you. So anyway, again, if you have any questions, stick them down in the comments and we'll do our best to answer them. Thanks a lot.